on One Always There.
Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary.
Today on One, hashtag journalism is not a crime. Gang up should support us in transforming the city, says Amupanda. Enough is enough, cry Namibian students. And MTC Kilimanjaro successfully hosts amateur boxing bonanza.
For the first time in Namibian history, local journalists have gathered in solidarity of journalists worldwide to commemorate the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists. Despite Namibia being number one in press freedom in Africa, many journalists are concerned with the recent harassment and arrest of media personnel while on duty, fearing that it might be migrating to a very dangerous place for local journalists.
Well, you have to put it in context of the recent event during the shut it all down. It was quite distressing to know that some of the police, obviously in that sense, did manhandle 3 journalists. So to think that in our case that it would not happen, but such incidences have been well documented and have known about in the profession. Just about, how certain sectors of government love to exact basically a strong arm of a sense on the profession of journalism. But let's also not fool ourselves. In some cases, the truth, is always that life is about 2 ways. There are 2 streets or 2 sides to everything.
We're here today to stand in solidarity with a number of journalists who've lost their lives while doing their work. We're here to just show them that, we are there for you. Namibia is relatively an easy environment to operate in terms of journalists. Although we've seen this year, a number of journalists that were detained or manhandled by the police, but still it's a relatively safe environment and safe space to operate in as a journalist. So we want to show journalists all over, especially the 2 French journalists who lost their lives in 2013. We want to say that we are with you and we see what has happened and we want an end to this.
Well, I'm here in solidarity with reporters here in Namibia and journalists right across the continent of Africa. I should say that in Namibia we are in a better position really when it comes to media freedoms, because as you know that we are ranked as the freest press on the continent and we are favorably ranked when it comes to the rest of the world. But at the same time, we do have a noble obligation to make sure that if there are any serious fault lines and tremors that might be appearing in our system, at the earliest we have to be taking action. So we are saying that we are against impunity. We are saying that the media has to be doing its job without any interference.
Make this day known, make it known to everyone, speak loud about it. I think also journalists, we are quite put to the side. You do your job, you go home. But there comes a time and a place where journalists truly need to speak when it comes to crimes against them. From being imprisoned to being killed, we still have questions of many journalists in Africa. And yes, press freedom in Namibia we might be first in Africa, but we just saw recently journalists were arrested for just simply doing their job.
We are gathered here to say no to impunity. Journalism is not a crime. Basically, that's our hashtag. And I think during COVID, it was a test for journalism in Namibia. Although I agree with most of us here, I share the same sentiment that we are still doing very well compared to other countries when it comes to press freedom. But COVID-19 really gave us that push, how far we can go. That is, with regards to central government, with regards to getting information, with regards to crossing the lines, And as a journalist, or as in our line of work, sometimes you have to push to get for information.
The Namibia Media Trust Director Zoe Titus said that there are so many cases on an international scale of journalists being kidnapped and murdered for reporting factual information.
On this day, it is important to remind the world that Cameroonian journalist Samuel Azizi's death cannot go unsolved. Sammy was picked up by the military nearly a year ago. It took 10 months for them to admit that they held him and that he had died basically 3 days after he was arrested in custody. Today, nearly a day after his death, his body has not been returned to his family. They have not been able to bury him, and no investigation is underway. We must demand that the Mozambican government seriously investigate the disappearance of Ibrahim Bakaru, who went missing on April 7th. The last words before he disappeared was a text to a colleague saying, "I'm surrounded by the military. Where is Ibrahim?"
Namibian journalists want to ensure all journalists worldwide that they are not alone and that they are here to join the fight.
My vote is a gateway to opportunities.
My vote is a reflection of my aspiration.
My vote expresses my versatility.
If you are 18 years old and a registered voter, make that first time count. Get to the polls on the 25th November 2020 and vote for the candidate, political party or organization of your choice in the regional council and local authority elections. Make your mark with a cross on the ballot. Do what is right and be part of the decision. Namibia votes.
Students across Namibia say that they have had enough with the Namibian Students Financial Assistance Fund's insufficient funding of tuition and non-tuition fees for the past years. Thus, the students had a nationwide demonstration and handed over petition to NASFAF, Ministry of Higher Education, Training and Innovation, and Ministry of Finance.
Sign your contract today. When you want to sign your contract today. Shut down NSFAF, shut down. Shut down. Shut down NSFAF, shut down. Shut down. We are tired. We are tired. We are tired of this cycle of every year. We are tired. Please bring our money.
Students claim that due to lack of innovation and actions from NASFAF, they are not sure if the first-year students for 2021 will receive funding. The student leader says it's a concern as most students come from disadvantaged backgrounds and depend on the government to fund their studies.
It was actually what is called a student demonstration on equal student funding. There were two petitions. One was directed to the Minister of Higher Education and one was directed to the acting CEO of NASFAF. Yeah, we have a number of students that are rejected. So you have been in university from January just to find out that you are rejected now. So what do? There was COVID-19, your parents are not working, many of our parents have lost income. So you are left with no any other option but to drop out, or either you are not allowed to write exams and so forth. The other issue is students are busy writing exams. You have no money to go to the examination halls because you have not received your refund. So during the demonstration or before the eve of the demonstration, NASFAF tried to sabotage the demonstration by releasing some funny arrangement of saying no, they are going to pay students, everyone will be paid before the 10th of November. But students are still crying until now. They have not begun that payment process. They've even lied just to make sure that the demonstration doesn't continue. And we are very worried because there's regional and local authority election that is happening very soon. So when these processes and payments are not done, everyone will be focused on election. After election, obviously it's December, everyone go for Christmas to go and enjoy with their families. then it's an issue that's going to be pushed to next year. So students' money must be paid. Students that are rejected must be given contracts. So that's what we are asking, particularly from NASFAF and from the minister, is that the budget that is allocated by the Ministry of Finance must be requested in its full, to say the year is coming to an end, budget was allocated so that tuition fees paid, non-tuition is paid, as well as those that are rejected are made to sign contracts.
Amunime further said that they want the Minister of Higher Education and the acting CEO of NASFAF to resign, as he claims that they have failed in their duties.
With regards to NASFAF, we feel that ever since 2017, Master Kennedy Kandume has been acting for far too long. There is a policy that deals with state-owned enterprises that says you only act for 6 months. So after those 6 months, you rather have an interview and appoint a substantive CEO. But until today, nothing has happened. Master Kennedy Kandume have been acting, they are not rotating, they are not advertising. In other words, Kennedy is basically like, sorry to use the words, like a puppet for ITA. It's just there on the mercy of the minister. The student problem still continues. Tuition fees not paid, non-tuition fees, students are rejected. But the ministry avails a proper budget in terms of 1.3, 1.2, 1.4 billion every year for students, but the same problems continue year in, year out. So this was basically even just to say it's high time for Master Kennedy Kandume to pack his bag and go, so we get someone that is qualified and competent enough to run a NASFAF.
The demonstration was held at different campuses across Namibia, such as Windhoek, Rundu, IUM Coastal, Kavango, and the Zambezi.
Goes down smoothly. Tafel Lager, Namibian like you.
Affirmative Repositioning Movement Chief Activist Job Amupanda at the launch of a manifesto by an independent candidate in Havana over the weekend say that the head of state, Geingob, should support the AR if he wants transformation that will benefit his legacy. After introducing their local authority candidates last week, the AR is backing the young Eliphas Ngitomoka for the Samora Machel Regional Council. On Saturday, Ngitomoka launched his manifesto where Amupanda say that they are ready to take charge of the city and that the president should get on board if he wishes to see change for his people.
President Geingob must actually, if he wants to succeed, he must actually mobilize support for the AR movement. He must mobilize support for the position of mayor to be taken by the right people, so that we are able to assist him. Currently, nobody in his SWAPO leadership, because we do recognize the fact that he's a president and he's going to be a president until 2024. He would have no legacy on housing in Windhoek. He will be struggling. But if we manage to solve the problems of housing, we will be calling him to cut the ribbons. We will be calling him to come open events. So we are also calling upon President Geingob, if he really cares about his legacy, if he really cares about transformation of our society, he must direct his support and encourage, even he doesn't have to do it openly, he can do it silently, so that he currently, those people that he has there will not be able to assist him. So the housing situation, once we solve it, is not just going to be our benefit. Once we solve the housing problem, it will also be good for him. He is going to at least have something to say.
Independent candidate Eliphas Ngitomoka say that the residents in the informal settlements have been neglected for far too long and that they now have the opportunity to change the situation that they find themselves in.
What we've decided to do today is to call you to come here so we can be able to give you information about the meeting that is on next week, so that when it comes to the 25th, the day that we are waiting for, the 25th of November, you know exactly what is that you're going to do. Because as you have seen already, we've been giving this information, but we wanted now to make sure that each one of us here have a task to reach out to the community, because that's the only way we can be able to really emancipate ourselves from this situation that we've been in for many years. having seen the situation that we are living in, we are saying it is enough. But one of the things that has been really holding us back is us, ourselves, because we've never come together and unite as one and really say enough is really enough.
The regional council and local authority elections are taking place on the 25th of this month, and Ngitomoka say that they will meet with the electoral body this week to discuss issues related to the process.
He has to listen to the information. Now, that information needs to interpret it and then convert it, and that part of the brain will then absorb the information. I think it will be a huge opportunity. We know.
What is your true purpose, and how will I commit as a leader to continue?
When you speak about the communication and how it's being received,
how do you relate to people? I mean, those respect, love, those are the crucial things before you build the solutions.
This past weekend, the town of Oshakati in the Oshana region was treated to a feast of excitement when the giant of boxing stables in the northern part of Namibia, the MTC Kilimanjaro Boxing Club, hosted a 19-bout amateur boxing bonanza at the Oshakati Independence Stadium. Joseph Bernard, owner and founder of the MTC Kilimanjaro Boxing Club, expressed his excitement after successfully hosting the event, stating that the bonanza was aimed at identifying amateur boxers that the stable can sign and turn them into professionals.
I'm very much happy, and I don't know what to explain, but I'm happy for the fight because I wanted this amateur to fight. I wanted them to fight and also to identify and to see who are the best boxers that can also want to become professional. Because if we are now kicking to the end of old professionals, we at least have to have the new ones. While the olders are getting old, we got the new ones. So these talented boxers have shown us tonight that they are capable of becoming professionals. So I'm very much happy. Everything went well. We did invite our neighboring regions. And all they came out and said they are happy. They are all now feeling well for them to have this tournament. So it's for long. After Corona came, it's for long. Some of them they didn't even went to train. So after I announced this tournament, everyone rushed to the train. But tonight we have seen that these guys were fit and fit well.
A former boxer himself at amateur level, Oshana Region Governor Elia Irimari expressed his gratitude towards MTC and Kilimanjaro for organizing the bonanza to take place in his region, as he feels such events can assist smaller SMEs to survive, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you to Kilimanjaro Boxing Club, MTC Kilimanjaro Boxing Club, for hosting this event. Whereby all these 5 regions, the northern part of Namibia, whereby Senior Matthias, has come together, at least to be shared, to be shared, because hopefully this is their first event this year since Corona outbreak. I must tell you that, as a former boxer myself, I'm highly excited and happy, and this give us courage. Only when we behave very well with regard to the pandemic, Corona, COVID-19. But if we behave very well, then the number of infected goes either down or completely eliminated. In Namibia, we go back to a normal way. Yeah. So the region is happy, and we need some of these things because they inject some money into our economy. The truth is the economy has been dealt a heavy blow because some of the institutions have closed down, and some are on the verge to close down, some are on the verge to collapse. But if this event can come, some of these people will rescue the accommodation facilities and also restaurants and so on, and even the street vendors who are mostly surviving from people moving into the region from the other regions. So we are extremely happy of what is happening tonight here in Oshakati.
During the event, Joseph Bernard also announced that the MTC Kilimanjaro Boxing Club will be hosting a professional bonanza on the 21st of November 2020 in Enana, which will be having 9 bouts, including a national title, which will be on the cards.
Hello Namibia, my name is Adora and welcome to a brand new edition of the cool new show called The Entlagavana. On this show we get to know who our artists really are behind the scenes and what inspires them, what keeps them going, what makes them tick. What are some of your favorite sounds?
Trap music, hip-hop,
Okay.
hip-hop, Afro dancehall.
We came from a background whereby we were raised by our grannies, so it's not a shameful thing for me to do because we used to sell and the we would work from Fambolokasi to Okuriangala.
Wala Wala Namibia, this is your boy Tulisan. Don't forget to watch the Ain't Like a Vibe TV show on One Africa Television.
In other leading stories, the Electoral Commission of Namibia has announced that the preparations for the 2020 Regional Council and Local Authority elections remain firmly on course. In this regard, Uniprint, a Durban-based South Africa printing company, was selected to print ballot papers for the upcoming regional and local authority elections. This company was selected for having the most responsive bid that met all technical requirements following a competitive public procurement process. Uniprint has printed ballot papers for more than 20 electoral management bodies at various points in time in the SADC region, including Botswana, Tanzania, Zambia, Zanzibar, Lesotho, and recently in 2019 for the South African and Mozambique electoral commissions. In a media statement, the ECN noted that it has full confidence that Uniprint will ensure that all ballot papers are delivered on time and to the ECN's requirements and specifications. Furthermore, all contesting political parties, associations and candidates will be offered an opportunity at their own cost to inspect the printing facility in South Africa and to monitor the printing of ballot papers for the forthcoming elections. It also noted that the training for regional coordinators, assistant coordinators and returning officers commenced on the 23rd of October and completed on the 1st of November 2020 in Otjiwarongo. Meanwhile, the ECN has finalized and published the polling timetable, which provides a detailed outline of all polling stations and operating hours for all the 14 regions. The timetable is available on the ECN website as well as on the ECN's social media platforms.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from the hottest social media pages. Today on One looks at the comments of the boxing bonanza held over the weekend in Oshakati, sponsored by MTC. Christophili said the boxer ran away after he lost the match. Paulus said that is not boxing. Pandu suggested Paulus should go box if he has the experience. Shanyenga said there is a lack of skills. G agrees with Shanyenga and suggested they watch professional boxing videos. Simon asked why they don't get training before the boxing matches. De Maestro said the boxer in white is talented. Unfortunately, his opponent is in dire need of basic skills. G said they're not taught the boxing rules. And that's all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day, only on Today on 1.
Win free airtime with One Africa TV. Share your comments on the channel. WhatsApp your feedback, name and town to 081 200 6659. One Africa TV. It just gets better.
Saying things that degrade women, for me, number one, I am not there, because that is basically what I don't believe in. I don't stand for things that degrade women.
What do you think we can add? What can we put in the basket? First of all, let's put Blossom back in the basket.
Look at the person like, man, let's do a song.
Let's do something.
Just
let's
like
collaborate.
Let's collaborate.
The Africans were claiming us.
Yes, exactly. To the rest of the world, they belong to us. Namibia, Baba, Namibia.
I'll help you carry on.
Creating music and putting some stuff out for the people who've been supporting me, that's definitely something that's next on my list.
A look at the weather forecast. The Namibia interior, partly cloudy and hot to very hot with a few thunder showers, but isolated to scattered thunder showers in the northeast and the southeast at places. The coast, partly cloudy and cool with fog patches at first. Rain is expected over the southern coastal areas. And the wind, moderate to fresh northwesterly to southwesterly. Now we look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
What a joy it is to be loved by you. My most precious gift, my guardian angel. I believe God sent you here to slow me down. So whatever it takes, I'ma keep you around, baby. I feel like I could conquer the world with you by my side. 'Cause of your unconditional love, baby, that is why you bring out the best in me. 'Cause you are the best, baby. And if I had to do it will choose you, girl. You bring out the best in me, 'cause you are the best, baby. Baby girl, my life. And if you ever leave me, girl, I die.